Hey everybody, Steve Webb here, and I'm excited to share with you some progress that I've been making on Project Vaulderie's editor. So this is going to be a full-featured tool set for all you modders out there that want to make changes to the video game itself. And since, of course, we're making Project Vaulderie as close as possible to the original Bloodlines game, this will be just like having a tool set that doesn't really require the usage of Unity to get right in and just kind of make some modifications and everything to the game. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so here we have the Santa Monica map. It's the same exact map, same exact scene that was demoed in the last video that I made. And the very first thing I want to do is increase the global illumination so we can see a little bit better. Alright, first thing I want to talk about is the camera controls. They're very, very easy to use, and for a lot of you that have modded before or used video game engine editors, you'll feel right at home with this. But even if you haven't done any of that before, it's actually rather simple to navigate around the map. The right mouse button will allow you to rotate the camera. The middle mouse button will enable you to pan up and down, left and right. Now if you hold the right mouse button and the middle mouse button, you'll be able to pan forward, back, left and right. And finally, if you hold the right mouse button down and you hit the W, A, S or D keys, you'll be able to fly about the map. The zoom control has not yet been programmed, but that will come in the near future. It's on the to-do list, along with a lot of other things, of course. Okay, and there will be a panel that will allow you to zoom right to an item in your scene. So if you've got a scene with hundreds of items, you don't want to have to look around for it manually. You can just click on the item and hit the F key and it'll zoom right to it, just like in a regular editor for video games like Unity. I haven't yet programmed the translation and rotation widgets. So right now it's pretty much just click on the item and drag your mouse around and it will slide the object around the map. For instance, we'll grab Yuki here and just kind of move her around. There are some considerations that need to be taken with models as well. So if you're going to be creating new models to be imported into the project, you'll have to be mindful of where you place the pivot, because it's the pivot that determines the where on the surface the model will be placed. Okay. Now you can see up here, these are just like little debug statistics for me that are to be reflected into the property box of the particular selected item. So when you click on an item too, you'll see like a little outline or some sort of visual indicator that will show you what item is selected. And it will also reflect all of the properties of that particular item and item type. For instance, Yuki here would have hit points, blood points. If she's going to have any disciplines, she would have like a drop box of that as well. Inventory, for instance, you can change the item collection that she has that she's using in the game. And what you would do with that is you would actually type the name in here, and it will search through the item database and will give her the item that is listed. Now if the item is misspelled or it's the wrong item, she won't get anything, of course. As you can see here, character name, Yuki, and her vector position as reflected in the property grid here. The only thing is it doesn't update in real time yet, as I have to write the events for that. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so let's see here. The next thing would be the play mode. Now this is actually pretty cool because it really allows for rapid prototyping. Now a lot of games and their modification tools require that you create your mods and changes, you save it, and then you start up the game, you load the mod, you play the game, and you see the effects in the game. That's kind of cumbersome. It's actually rather slow. There are some that actually have it from right within the editor, like if you click on File and then play level, it'll still start the game up. You'll have to wait for everything to load, and then you'll get to see the effects of your changes there. Well, I've done away with that. That's like a thing of the past, really. So the way we do it here is you click on toggle mode. It will drop you into a generic character that you will be able to customize and mess around with too, but it'll drop you right into the character as if you were playing the game right away. You'll be able to pick up items, you'll be able to use new items, so you'll be able to see the fruits of your labor right away without having to wait for levels to load or anything like that. So it's very convenient. And again, if you want to go back to edit mode, you just click on this and you're right back in edit mode. Okay. Alright. Now, this dialogue feature is probably one of my favorite, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with it, and it's still under development. But this is exactly what it says. This is a spot here for the file path for your dialogue file that would be attached to this character. And the way you get to that editor is you click on View and you go to Dialogue and Mission Editor. And it brings up this little form here. Doesn't look like much, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on it, obviously, but it's very powerful. The way you would start a conversation or a dialogue file is you right-click on the node. As you can see, the properties for that particular node pop up. Now you can't delete the root node, so we need that in place. Okay, so let's say you wanted to add a conversation with Yuki. You would click Add, and this line here would be the greeting. Hey, how are you? Now after this, anything that is directly under this would be a response. So it's kind of like a parlay that goes back and forth. So you right click on this, click Add, and these would be the responses. Now the responses are special in that you can put tags in front of them that will determine what kind of font is going to be showing up for that particular dialogue line. But it also will interact with the statistics system that determines how the rest of the conversation turns out. For instance, we'll do intimidation. Say something nasty there and screw you or something. Okay. And then we'll have another response that the player can make. Let's say something like, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Little smiley face. Okay, this tag indicates that there's going to be statistics applied to this. There's going to be a comparison of the driving statistics behind intimidation compared to Yuki's resistance against it. So it's just one value against another. I do believe in the original game that if you were incapable of performing a specific type of dialogue feat or task, it just wouldn't show up. But if it did show up, every single time you used it, it would succeed. To me, that seems kind of hokey. Now, I could be wrong about the way that works, but insofar as my understanding is concerned, that's what I've observed most of the time anyhow, or all the time really. I haven't seen it otherwise. So we're going to do away with that, and let's see here, we're going to add the response that Yuki would make to this particular selection. We're going to make 2. And the reason why we're going to do 2 is because you can either on succeed. Okay, so if you successfully intimidate her, she might say something like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Please, please don't hurt me. And on failure, you know what? Screw you. And then you could do some other things like put an event in there, like event attack, but that would be attached to another field here, which I haven't gotten around to programming just yet. Okay. So here, if you choose this particular response to hello, how are you, or hey, how are you, and you succeed, that's exactly what you'll see. And then, of course, if there's nothing else beyond that, it would end the conversation. That would be the end of it, and so on. So here, we could just put in, fine, thank you, and her response to that would be, oh, that's nice. Something silly. Whoops, that was actually the, I'm sorry, I'm fine. I have to add one to that, and this would be, of course, her response. That's nice. Okay, and you can remove these nodes as well. So if you feel as though something is in error, you just right-click and delete. Right-click and delete. Okay? So once you're done with all of this and you filled out all your properties, there's going to be, you know, a couple more and everything in here too. Some of these I'm going to get rid of them because they're not necessary, but you'll see some extra ones in there for linking events and stuff like that too. You just click submit, and once that's set up, you'll see a little dialog. It says, okay, well, where do you want to save this dialog file? You pick the place, and once that is done, you can go back into your editor here. It's a little slow because of my recording software. Oop. Okay. What you can do is, with the selected character here, just go to dialog and then type in the path as I had stated, and that dialog would be attached to this character. So all you would have to do is go into play mode, walk up to Yuki, hit the E key, and you would see the fruits of your labor right away. So if you've made a mistake, you know, you just go back into edit mode and change it pretty quickly. You know, bada bing, bada boom. And that's that. So with that, I bid thee farewell. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and keep your eyes open for more Project Vaulderie. Take care now. Bye-bye.